I wanted to give you an update on Alan's show garden, which this is about a 5-acre plot that sits at the edge of our daylily fields. And most of these here are his registered varieties. Some are others, forced to be reckoned with here. This one looks kind of faded, and I want a piranha. That's what that one is. I like the circular designs of these. From up above, it looks like a spaceship has landed here. Got some concentric rings. Kind of a centerpiece out here. And then we've got a matching circular garden right over here. Oh, well, you can see that. Then over here, we have a spot where there used to be a bank barn, which in the Midwest, what they call bank barns are barns that are built usually in the side of a hill. The one side over here you can see, that's where the entrance to the top floor was. They usually have kind of a hump that goes up a foot or two. Down here, that's been a little filled in, this was the basement of the barn, and access was on the other side coming to us. Alan, of course, has taken this, every square inch of this, it seems, and made garden out of it. And the guy loves rocks. I grew up in the Midwest on a farm, and I grew up picking up rock out of field from the age of about 6 years old. So I don't care for rocks like Alan does. We've got plenty of them here on the 90 acres that we gather up every time we redo a field or till a field. So Alan has plenty of rocks to use. Here's some more daylilies. This used to be part of our seedling garden, seedling selection. So a lot of these out here have just kind of stayed here for several years. Not quite good enough to be registered, but Lucy, Alan's wife, doesn't have to heart to kill or throw anything away. So even the smallest little plant, she'll find a place on this show garden somewhere to put it. Okay, and as you can see, rocks everywhere. He loves his rocks and his plants, so I'll let him take all the rocks he wants from the fields to decorate his gardens. Here's another part of that bank barn, the basement of it. And you can see there's a little mud hole at the bottom. We'll eventually dig this out, and we'll make him a nice little pond here and a stream to go across to the main pond. We'll have some little waterfalls in here. Park benches. I don't know what these are. They might be strawberries. It's been so long since I've had to work a garden, I kind of forget what they are, but they look too big. I don't know what these are, but Alan can tell you. Here's some more of these. I don't even know what the heck these are. He's just got flowers everywhere. There's our Amish crew working in the back. I'm going to take them later on for ice cream. It's Friday afternoon. Getting close to quitting time. Them teenagers are going to get some ice cream. That will be the highlight of their day. Here's more of Alan and Lucy's Garden of Eden here. I bought a bunch of these roses for him a few years back at Home Depot on sale. And he planted them, used them, but he just kind of chuckled at me. I think these are pretty cheap, pretty common roses. Okay, we'll go over here to a little island they've been working on for a few years. This is the view, kind of what they see out their backyard, back door. This is a pretty nice little area. Got some hosta in there under some shade. Pretty darn nice daylilies, whatever those are. Oh, some more of Kevin's cheap roses here. Smokey didn't know what he was doing. Yeah. Nice little walkway through. Goes directly out to the pond, which the pond has only been in development for about a year. He's still got rocks 3/4 of the way around that thing. We've got drawings and designs and the foundation works for a hanging bridge, he calls it. It's actually a suspension bridge made out of cables. His brother does a lot of charity work in Malaysia, and he actually installed a suspension bridge for the kids in Malaysia so they could go to school. And that thing was almost a 1/4 mile long. So ours will only be about 80 feet, something like that. I'm gonna have fun designing and building that this fall. All kinds, I think, succulents they call them. This is the north side of that little, so we got a lot of hostas back here. I think I'll just update you on the older part of the show garden. See, across the road here is his Garden of Eden he's building around his beloved pond. As you can see, well, that itself is probably close to 5 acres. The pond is only about 1 acre though. As you can see, the rocks on the banks, those rocks are probably 3/4 of the way around that pond already. Each one laid by hand. So we're going to come up over here, and we've probably seen about 1/3 of their show garden. Some nice older daylilies. We continue up this other side of this magnificent display, even though some of them are Smokey's cheap roses that I bought Alan. He didn't have the heart to tell me. Okay. This is kind of here a shade garden more. This was a row of pine trees. When we bought this place, the trees were clear on the ground, so we trimmed them up about 8 foot off the ground. Of course, Alan took advantage of that and planted a lot of shade-loving plants under here, especially hosta. Of course, here's some more new plants going in. He does a lot of cuttings and starts. We built him a little greenhouse, a heated greenhouse on the side of his house, so that thing is full of plants in the winter especially. They have a lot of plants, exotics from Malaysia that they have to bring in the wintertime. And this is the other side of what I went down about 10 minutes ago. Oh, there's Maggie, the daylily dog. She's getting old now. She's about 12 years old. She's been with me since about 6 months old. Got dumped off at our house from the road. And she spends every day with me. She used to never want to ride in the truck. And I got one of those doggy pedometers for her. And she was running between 20 and 30 miles a day beside me in the truck. She'd never leave my side except for one time a day. That would be at lunch. She would beg for food, but she would always make sure she's available if you happen to want to give her some. Other than that, Maggie's my constant companion out here. Now she's getting old, so I let her run around for about 5 minutes, and we ride around the truck all day. That's my job, driving the truck all day. My beautiful 90-acre backyard, full of flowers. I can come down here to the show garden anytime. This is just magnificent. This used to be some of our older seedling gardens. I think these are a couple rows of our own stuff. Oh yeah, there's brick and mortar. I would recognize that anywhere. That is a gorgeous flower. We've named a few of them after all. My grandkids all have a daylily named after them. And I think I'm going to have Alan name a daylily after Maggie, the daylily dog. I don't know what the heck this plant is, but he's got a lot of plants he's had 30 years since he moved from Malaysia and has to put them in every year. Here's his little heated greenhouse we built for him. They spend a lot of time out here in the winter. It's pretty small, but they make it work. And they have a pretty good sized garden that wraps around 3/4 of the way around the house. It's just full of plants I've never seen before. Lucy and Alan both, their biggest hobby is plants. And here's some of our older plantings. Again, there's a brick and mortar. This is kind of Alan's own personal garden now. Sometimes we'll steal some stuff from him. A lot of one-offs out here. Ones we found that didn't multiply well. Ones that didn't do very well out in the fields, but they still wanted to grow them. Here's a lot of our older stuff again. It was kind of converted from a pseudo production area to show garden. So a lot of this stuff like Viva Pinata, Dixie Sunrise, Big Red Wagon, Bullfrog Kisses. A lot of this stuff we have in the fields, but there'll be a clump or two around here. You just got all kinds of stuff like this here. I think this might have been an old tree stump that he ended up filling raised bed with rocks. Again, his rocks. Here's an area from here clear down to that building and bust down there. There's probably close to an acre here of purely hosta. They were all hosta. A few years ago we tried to think that we could grow and ship hosta the same methods as daylilies. And it almost worked, but it didn't. So we went back to selling our singular product, daylilies only. We don't sell anything else. And we're experts at raising daylilies. Pretty good at hosta too, as you can see. But this is just all Alan's personal supply of hosta now. And these are all where he draws from to use as displays, especially around the pond. So I think next time we'll go and do a tour of the pond. In some ways it's a lot more impressive than this. In a lot of ways it's only been there a year. It's just a rough base outline of what it will be. So again, this is Smokey signing off from Smokey's Gardens, 9 acres of heaven, southern Michigan. Thanks.